Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some even want to bully you around. And the others, they're just blowing smoke. Packed with vitamins B3, B5, B6, and B12, the new HiQ energy drink comes available in 4 exciting flavors. Skyberry Fusion, Apple, Coconut Fruit Punch, and Lemon Lime. Natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crash, no bull. HiQ energy drink. Wings are for birds.
Rudo Apparel powers teams and athletes around the world by offering the best in customer uniforms at an unbeatable price. Visit RudoApparel.com or give them a call today at 347-850-2720 to build your one-of-a-kind uniform made just the way you want. Rudo Apparel, the #1 shop for custom uniforms and apparel. That's 347-850-2720.
It is Monday, July 30th, 2018, and I'm Dan Conard here with your NHL Weekly Update. We knew there would be a weekend where not much was going on in the NHL. No transaction news, no big stories. However, I don't think we expected it so soon as that weekend came. This past weekend, nothing really going on, no big stories to highlight. The Capitals will say that, they think they can repeat even with new leadership. The Blackhawks look to rebound, and other than that, that's it. Nothing else coming out of the NHL that would really grab the attention of the audience and, be a good opportunity to tell a good story. So, it's okay that we don't have any news. We can direct this show towards the hockey world today and keep it a little bit shorter than usual. And that's exactly what we're going to do, because there is some interesting news coming out of the hockey world. News that at some point may indeed affect the National Hockey League. And we are going to start with Division I college hockey. They submitted a few weeks ago these new overtime protocols. So right now they play a 5-on-5 for 5 minutes if nobody wins after that. Sometimes it goes into shootout, sometimes it is just a tie depending on the game itself. However, what is going to happen now is after a traditional 5-on-5 5-minute overtime, conference games only may use either a 5-minute 3-on-3 overtime and a shootout, or only a shootout to award additional conference points. So they're beginning to change it, that just a tie, maybe the possibility of a shootout, at least in the world of conference games. There will now be an opportunity to play a 3-on-3 for 5 minutes, or a 5-on-5 possibly. There's some stipulations to the rule, but the new rule saying right now is that they would either play a 3-on-3 for 5 minutes in an overtime, or have a shootout, or just go right into the shootouts to award additional points to the conference. So they're trying to, at least in a sense, the college hockey world come into the world of the NHL to make sure that no game ends in a tie, but rather awards points to various teams to help them achieve the best that they can, at least in their college rankings. But that's not the only big change with the college hockey rules right now. Yes, the overtime, you have a 5-on-5, a 3-on-3, a shootout, great. But they are now going to allow the use of video review in situations where players are ejected. So this is all coming from NCAA.com. They are allowing the use of video reviews in situations where ejecting a player is being considered, because such calls are critical and officials must currently make the determinations after viewing the play in real time. Now, both committees of the men's and women's ice hockey believe this can be and will be a positive change. But if I look at it now, it's concerning a little bit, because when you're ejecting a player, it's really your own feeling. I was a soccer referee official before, and you have a split second to make a decision, and And a video review could come into play a little bit that might help you make your decision, but for the most part, you're making a decision on the spot, and it kind of can go one of two ways. Now, a referee looks at the review and says, you know what, I'm standing with my call, but then they also look at the review and, you know, even though you're saying, the referee's saying he's staying with his call, the coaches and the players are going to be in disagreement, so I think it's going to cause more issues in the long run, instead of just allowing the referee to say, you know what, listen, it's cut and dry, that's it, it's over with, he's out. And, you know, if the referee made a mistake, he made a mistake, but allowing video review play for ejecting a player, I don't think is a great thing that's going to be in the college hockey world. You definitely won't see it come into the NHL. At least we won't think so, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over time, what will happen as time goes on. So we're not too sure, but it'll be interesting to see, and you can bet there will be a lot of fights based on the ejection review. College hockey's also redefining a slashing. It'll be any forcible or powerful chop with the stick on an opponent's body, the opponent's stick, or on or near the opponent's hands that, in the judgment of the referee, is not an attempt to play the puck, and this will be penalized as slashing. So, you hit the stick, you hit the body, you hit the ice near the player or near his hands while you're slashing now. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. New rules, and you can bet there'll be a lot of slashing calls early in college hockey this year because of that new rule. Players are going to have to get used to that. Yeah, you give a little nudge to the player with your stick sometimes. You know, it's not a slash, but it's a little nudge to say, yeah, you're frustrated with the way they're playing. You're frustrated with, you know, maybe how they acted out on the ice, but it wasn't something that deserved a penalty, but apparently now will. So slashing redefined as well. And now substitution changing as well in the college hockey world. The player must be in 5 feet of the bench before the substitute may contact the ice. So a little bit of a difference, I guess, in the world of the NHL, where the player could go out on the ice, we can't touch the puck basically, or the team can't touch the puck till that substitute player gets off the ice, which was similar in college hockey last year, but now player must be 5 feet away from the bench, and it'll be interesting to see how many referees actually reinforce that. Are they going to reinforce the opportunity or the substitution that close to the bench, or are they going to let them go? So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Teams will also now have one timeout in overtime, regardless if a timeout was used during regulation play, so a timeout will carry over from, well, it won't carry over, but they'll be given a timeout in overtime, even if they used their timeout within the first 3 periods. College hockey, at least in Division 1, will be able to carry one more player on their roster, so that makes it 19 as the max now on the roster. The current is at 18. This will allow for an extra player in the event, they say, in case a player gets hurt, if the team wants to carry an extra goalie or extra defensive player in this way. If a player does get hurt, that they have that backup ready to go. A player now who catches the puck must immediately place it on the ice for play to continue. If a player catches and conceals or throws the puck, a minor penalty shall be assessed. So, again, no penalties in the NHL, but I can't grab the puck and throw it to my teammate because of hand pass. So what they're saying now in college hockey is you have to grab it and throw it on the ground real quick and then play in order for it to continue. And if you don't do that, if you throw the puck or if you close your hand over it, you're get a penalty for delay of game is what they're saying at this point. And to reduce the number of video review situations, coaches must use a challenge to review goals scored where potential high stick is involved or plays where the puck touches the netting out of play and leads to a goal. So, now it says it must use a challenge, so it's different wording, it's confusing wording at this point. They're basically saying that's the time that the coaches must use it and not really specifying if they can't use it in other situations, but it provides more opportunities, I guess, for the coaches at this point to give their challenge out early on in games and to see essentially if the goal went into the back of the net. So a lot of changes going around here in the NCAA world. We had a big, rule change in the NHL just a few years ago. You had the 5-on-5 down to, the 4-on-4 when it came to overtime, or the big overtime change, and then you continue to have changes that go on throughout, the head contact, all that fun stuff. So the NCAA now making big changes in the hockey world when it comes to their rules with overtime, different opportunities to play the puck, and it's just something that is going to continue to change as time goes on. And it would be interesting to see, and I know I just said 4-on-4 for the NHL, there's a 3-on-3, thrown off a little bit here, there's a 3-on-3 in the NHL, and the college hockey now adapting to that world, and it'd be interesting to see what goes on. It'd be interesting to see the ejection of players. It will be interesting to see the slashing and how that's going to be enforced, and what may happen as time does indeed go on. Another big news coming out in New York is that high school hockey will use a instant replay in postseason. So instant replay will be available when it comes to hockey in New York and postseason. That will allow also for a challenge to be made or sang in certain situations, and they're just one of 2 states, Alabama and New Jersey, are already use it. They use theirs primarily for football, but now in the hockey world we will see one as well. And great news coming out of the hockey world as well. The U.S. hockey team, blind players team, has made their debut in Whitestown Ice Rink up in New York. They made their full game action debut during an expedition game against the local hockey players, and it's just an opportunity really to provide blind players the opportunity to play the game, to continue to get out there on the ice and to be a part of what they enjoy. So while we have no news coming out of the NHL this week, we should have plenty for you on Thursday. Thank you for listening. I'm Dan Conard here with your NHL Weekly Update.